So we can all admit at this point that the 6-inch Tron figures aren't happening, right? Good morning, everybody. Mac here. Season's greetings, happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Welcome back to the show. Welcome to Sunday Show and Tell. So we have a bit to talk about. We're going to try and get through this pretty quickly because Mac still has a lot of things to do, getting ready for the holidays. The time I'm recording this, it's only like 6:30 in the afternoon, but it is dark. It is like black here. We're also in the middle of a whiteout right now, which is kind of awesome because like outside, the lights are reflecting off the snow. The Christmas lights are reflecting off the snow. Looks really cool. But let's get on with the show. Let's talk about the reason why you're here, and that is toys and related news. Starting with our Kickstarters, because those are the only crowdfunders we have going on right now that at least I'm paying attention to. The first thing we're going to be talking about is Fangs. Not doing so well. They are a line of 1/12 scale, 6-inch articulated anthropomorphic martial arts figures. We have a gray wolf, a red fox, a Doberman, and a pit bull. This is coming off of the tail of, no pun intended, off of the tail of the first wave of what's called now Zujitsu fighters, which were claws. It was a series of like hunting cats. Tigers, jaguars, snow leopards, things like that. So they went with like the big hunting cats for the first wave, and it looks like for the second wave they were going with, I want to say mostly canines, but I don't think a fox is a canine, but they're going for that type of aesthetic. So like it looks like they're trying to expand out with these martial arts anthropomorphic animals. Last week, we were sitting at $3,761 of the $57,300 needed to go into production. This week, we gained $80, and we are now up to $3,841. Only 7 days left to go on the campaign. Not looking real promising for this one, have to admit. So we'll wait and see what happens. It's interesting to note, and this may be the reason why the Kickstarter isn't going so well, but it's interesting to note that on the first Kickstarter, when they did Fangs, the cats, the big predator cats I was just telling you about, it didn't reach its mark either, but they went into production anyway. So I'm wondering if people are looking at this, remembering the first Kickstarter, and are thinking, I'll just pre-order them when they go into production because it'll probably happen again. We'll have to wait and see. As far as I know, they haven't said whether or not they plan on doing that this time or not, neither confirming nor denying, but I'm curious if that's maybe what's happening. Another Kickstarter we're going to be talking about that I didn't, oh man, it popped up in my email and I jumped on it. I was one of the ones that funded in 1 minute ThunderCats the role-playing game. Yes, it took this long to get one. This is being put out by Dynamite Toys and Games, Dynamite Comics. It's been live for about a week now, and it has hit $70,889 of the $1,985, get it, dollars needed to go into production. That is across 776 backers. So this is already going into production. This is already getting made. And what's great about this is it is completed. This is for printing costs. So the campaign ends on January 16th. Printing will begin the end of January, and they're estimating that they can start shipping by the end of February. The game is already made, already completed, ready to go to print. So once this campaign ends, it won't be long before we have the product in our hands. There are 3 different covers right now. There is the standard cover, there is the Kickstarter exclusive variant, and then there is the limited edition leather-bound deluxe cover, which is the one that I kind of went in on, and it is limited to 1985, get it, copies. And right now, of those 1,985 copies, 1,753 are left. The difference between the leather-bound limited edition and the Kickstarter exclusive cover is, I believe, the leather-bound, because it's a limited edition, will still be available once the Kickstarter campaign is over. The Kickstarter cover, though, obviously is only available through this Kickstarter campaign. So I'm actually kind of torn about whether or not, I mean, I'm going for the leather bound either way, but I'm kind of torn about whether or not I'm going to get a second cover and get that Kickstarter exclusive, because that's the kind of psychotic collector that I am. This is based off of the 5th edition D&D rules. It states, it very plainly states, everything you need to start playing is in this book. So you don't need like the 5th edition player's handbook, the 5th edition DM's guide. You don't need any of that stuff. Everything you need to start playing is in the book, which is cool, because as much as I love D&D, my heart lies in 3rd edition, and I haven't bought anything for 5th edition, so this is actually going to be my first experience with 5th edition. Kind of looking forward to it. There are no stretch goals announced yet. Like, there is a section for stretch goals, and they say that it's coming, but they haven't put any forward yet. I don't know if they realized how fast this campaign was going to fund. Like I said, it funded in less than a minute when people got the emails. So check it out. Links to everything in the show notes below. I mean, it's a ThunderCats role-playing game. I can't wait to see what they come up with, like what the classes are going to be. If like each ThunderCat is going to represent a different subspecies, like Lion-O, Panthro, Chitara, Tigra, if they're all going to be like part of a different subspecies of the ThunderCats. How they're going to do the mutants, Mumra, oh, that's going to be really cool. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this plays out. Jumping over to the timed pre-orders, there's really not much new to talk about. We, of course, have our 4 Horsemen Mythic Legions, Dawns of Discovery right here. That is still up for pre-order. The ETA is a 2027 release, and the pre-orders are going to be cut off on 12/28, so we have a couple more weeks to go with this. Remember, like I said last week, there is no Ghost of Christmas Present coming for their Christmas Carol line this year, which I'm a little bummed about. That spot was taken by the Mouse King, which is right there off my shoulder. We will be looking at that figure probably the week of Christmas is when I will put the video up for that, is when we'll open up that box and take a look at them. Also, and I can't help but notice this, like they have been re-releasing some Figure Obscura characters, some figures that had sold out and haven't been available for years, like the Red Robed Santa that came out in 2022, which we took a look at earlier, I think it was last week, yeah, which we took a look at this past week. What is time anymore? I apologize. Having videos every day and getting ready for the holidays is kind of throwing my calendar off. But there is the Red Robe Santa, there is Ghost of Christmas Past, there is Jacob Marley, and also they have brought back the New Jersey Devil Figure Obscura figure. Can't help but notice they haven't brought back the Headless Horseman yet. 4 Horsemen. Where's my horseman? I like the version that is up on Big Bad Toy Store, but I really want to get my hands on the all-black version again. And then jumping over to Hasbro, we have the Arctic Hiss Tank, which we took a look at last week. $199. It is a timed pre-order. No lights. Like I said, the turret is okay. I'm not real big on like that open missile rack with like the guns coming off the side. That would probably be something I would look at replacing with a third party, or maybe seeing if somebody is selling the turret from the HasLab Hiss Tank and just popping it on there. Yeah, like the ETA for that is 1 year from now, December of 2026. The cutoff date for that is January 4th. I have one on order, but the more I look at it, the more I'm thinking, I mean, I'm still going to get it, don't get me wrong, but I do think it's overpriced. I definitely think it's overpriced. And I think the high price on this, the $200, comes from them overpricing things like the Vamp and the Awe Striker, to be completely honest. Like, I feel like the Vamp and the Ostriker especially, maybe should have been more around the range of $75 instead of the $100 mark. And so that made them overprice this. I feel like the Arctic Hiss tank with just the tank and the single driver figure, which is just a kit bash of the original Hiss driver's head on a Snow Serpent's body. I feel like this should have maybe been 150. I am part of the problem though, so I'm still going to be getting mine. Now heading over to 5K Toys, we have two from Mety Toyz that we're going to be taking a look at today. The first one that we have is this, the limited edition Demon Hunter. This is definitely not Illidan Stormrage from World of Warcraft. It debuted in October, and it was slated for a late 2025 release, which obviously we've missed that, unless that is a misprint on the page. And they meant Q3 or Q4 of 2026, because the page says Q3 or Q4 of 2025. I'm thinking that's a misprint, so we may have still a year to wait on this thing. This looks fantastic. I love these figures. The wings, look at the wings. The wings are incredible for one. There is a lot of armor, especially on the upper part, and then the skirting around the waist, and that face mask, that helmet piece that's on there. Now, there are no photos of that armor removed, but I have a feeling that you're going to be able to do it, that you're going to be able to pop that face mask off, that you'll be able to pull the chest armor off, and maybe the skirting off to give it a more basic, not Illidan looking figure underneath. Because you get like a lot of stuff with this that would honestly, I feel like it would look better without all of that busy armor on, except maybe like the tabard that's hanging down in front. So the wings look incredible. The armor, despite me wanting to be able to take it all off, the armor does look incredible as well. I love the colors that are used. The warglaives, the twin warglaives that he comes with those green flaming blades. Oh, does that look awesome. And then he has an energy effect and a skull. Just a skull to stare at and ask questions of. I love that. The full price on this, because remember, over on 5K Toys, you pay a deposit and then you pay a second price. But the full price on this guy is $118. Like I said, the webpage says ETA Q3 or 4 of 2025. So either we missed that and it's being delayed, or that is a misprint and it's supposed to be of 2026. I was actually worried because I first saw this and I was kicking around the idea of picking him up. But then, like, the listing went away for a few weeks, and I was like, man, either it's sold out and I missed it, or maybe they canceled the figure. But when I was kicking around over on 5K Toys today, lo and behold, it popped up again. So I will get a link to this and leave it in the show notes below if you're interested, or if you saw it and you had a hard time finding it as well. I did pre-order it now, so my payment did go through. So it's not sold out. It's not canceled, it's just hard to find. Now, the other side of Mety Toyz that we have is the Death Knight Frostbone right here. And it says this is a 1/10 scale figure. And as a matter of fact, you can see it next to one of their Mety Toyz 1/6 scale figures right here. That, I know it says 1/10 scale, which means it's going to be like around a 6-inch, or I'm sorry, a 7-inch figure. But for what it is, you could kind of like finagle it, I feel, into 1/12 scale, into 6-inch line. Just because it's a Death Knight, it should be like bigger and a little bit more monstrous. Having said that, and as much as I like a lot of the aesthetic for this really isn't doing it for me. He comes with plenty of weapons. You can see them all laid out right here. But he only comes with like 2 head sculpts, or 2 types of head sculpts rather, a helmeted or an unhelmeted, so you really can't troop build because they'll all look the same with the same helmets or unhelmeted heads, so I don't feel like it has the potential for being a troop builder. That's just me. I would prefer something like this when we're talking about Death Knights, if you had an option of like different helmets maybe. I really like the icy blue coming through on some of the armor parts. I think that is fantastic. Not a fan of him being barefoot. I think that just throws the whole look off for me. And he needs a cape. If he's going to be this big, if he's going to be this imposing, if he's going to look like this, he needs a cape. So he needs boots and a cape. That's just me. I do think that he has a lot of potential, and I understand why a lot of people would be like, that dude's cool, gotta get him. Just not for me. I do like the look of the helmet. I like the look of the armor. There are two unhelmeted heads, one with the mouth closed, one with the mouth open and the tongue hanging out. And they kind of look like undead troll heads, to be honest. $99 ETA for that is second quarter of 2026. This next one, while not up for pre-order yet, I did get an email about this, that Jada Toys cereal mascots are coming out with the long-awaited Fred and Barney. They are sold separately. It is not a 2-pack. Fred comes with Fruity Pebbles. Barney comes with Cocoa Pebbles, of course. So, each one is going up for pre-order on Monday, December 15th. So the time you're watching this, tomorrow. And they will be up for pre-order on Big Bad Toy Store and Entertainment Earth. Neither store has a landing page for them yet, so I don't have anything to link to for them yet. But just keep a lookout. They will be up. It's going to be, I believe, 9 a.m. Pacific time, which will be noon Eastern time. No price, no ETA on when they're going to be coming out. Each figure comes with 2 head sculpts. Each figure comes with multiple hands and a bowl of cereal, a box of cereal, and a spoon. Depending on which figure it is, like I said, Fred comes with Fruity Pebbles, Barney comes with Cocoa Pebbles. So there you go. Fred and Barney are coming. Check them out for tomorrow. Jumping over to Mattel, we have some more Masters of the Universe 2000X. One actually came out last month. Jumping over to Mattel, we have some more Masters of the Universe 2000X. One came out last week, but I missed it. And unfortunately, it's sold out in most places already. And then the other one was new that came out this week. The first one we're going to take a look at is Queen Marlena right here. She came out last week. Most places she is sold out. I think the only place that she's available right now is Big Bad Toy Store. Link in the show notes below. Her one accessory, because remember, the 2000X cartoon collection, each figure only comes with one accessory. Her accessory is her astronaut helmet, which, okay, cool. I get it. It's a important piece to her backstory, to her lore. One thing that I do like is that you can pull her dress off, so she's wearing like a jumpsuit underneath, which is, I guess, supposed to be like her Flash Gordon style spacesuit, because even after you take the dress off, there's nothing that happens with that plunging V she has up front. So she's wearing like this skin tight spacesuit with a space helmet, and boom, it's all out there. The other one that came out this week is Ram Man, and this is a big, chonky figure, okay? This is another, I don't know if they're officially calling them deluxe figures, but just like with Beast Man, Ram Man here is a much larger figure than the other 2000X line. Not really sure I dig the gold on the armor. I get that it's part of the cartoon aesthetic, but I just think the gold sort of clashes with everything else. I would have preferred if everything was just like iron gray up there. His accessory is, of course, his axe. Now, Queen Marlena is $21.99. Ram Man, being that big, chonky, trauma-inducing figure, blunt force trauma-inducing figure, is $24.99. So he has a $3 price hike. Like I said, I don't know if they're actually calling like figures like him and Beast Man Deluxe, but these bigger ones do have a bigger price point. Both of them ETA February of 2026. As usual, we're going to be closing out the show with Hasbro, and there was a Star Wars fan stream that happened this week that we are going to be talking about right now. Everything from Star Wars got a little bit of love. The Vintage Collection, the Retro Collection, and the Black Series. Although some got more love than others, and you'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. We're going to be kicking off with the vintage collection, though. And the first thing we're going to be taking a look at is a 2-pack that features Obi-Wan Kenobi from Revenge of the Sith, and a airborne infantry clone trooper from the 212. And I'm not a big fan of when they do a 2-pack with a named character and a troop builder, and that's kind of what they did right here. The 212 airborne infantry, like, people might want to troop build that one, but now he's locked in a 2-pack with Obi-Wan Kenobi, so you're going to be spending more money. And if you do get like 1 or 2 more 2-packs, you have additional Kenobis, which, if you're a customizer or reseller, I guess that's not a big deal, but like, not everybody wants to have to deal with that. I do have to admit, Obi-Wan looks really good, though. He has a cloth goods cape. He comes with a force push hand. They also said that this Kenobi, with the exception of maybe like the upper legs, is a completely new tooling, so it's a completely new figure. That is very cool. The 212 Airborne Infantry, I mean, he's a clone trooper with some new coloring, some new piping. I don't know much about vintage, so I don't know if they've used this body before, but I do think he looks cool. I think I have some clones in Battlefront 2 that have a look similar to this. This is not up for pre-order right now. This is not coming out until spring of 2026. It is going to be a Walmart exclusive and will be part of the Walmart Collectors Con. What is available right now is Greedo. This is a mainline release, not the figure from the Cantina. I don't know if that means this is a new figure and not the same Greedo that came with the Cantina, if there's paint app differences. Don't know about that, but they made sure to make it a point to say this isn't the Cantina Greedo. All of these vintage series figures, vintage collection figures, I have to admit, look really good. It is really impressive what they can do at the 3.75 scale now. The detail, the paint apps, like some of these figures, especially the one at the end, really look like, when you look at the close-up photos of them, like, you would really have a hard time being impressed of saying that's a 3 3/4 figure or that's a 6-inch figure. That's how good I think some of these vintage collection figures look. Greedo here just comes with like his blaster pistol for an accessory, and that's about it. But he also comes on an 80s style green card back. The other one that we have available right now is the Snowtrooper Commander, which, until I saw the fan stream, for as many times as I've watched Empire Strikes Back, I didn't realize the guy in the AT-AT with Veers looked any different from the other snowtroopers. But they made it a point to say that there are differences in this figure from the standard snowtrooper that's out. The coloring is a much brighter white, a cleaner white, it looks like, than the standard standard snowtroopers. He has different boots, and they even mentioned that they took the shoulder pauldrons and flipped it upside down just to give it a different look from the other snowtroopers that are out there, so he will stand out in a collection of snowtroopers. And he comes with a pistol and his E11 blaster carbine. Also on a Empire Strikes Back card back. Now, what good is the Snowtrooper Commander if he doesn't have his General? General Veers, Fear Veers, is another one that is out for this vintage collection. I think they said this is the first time we're getting Veers for the vintage collection. Vintage collection collectors, please correct me if I'm wrong. But if that's the case, I can see this being a very popular figure. The face likeness is okay. Like, it looks good. It doesn't quite look exactly like the actor, but like when you look at the face sculpt, you definitely say, yeah, that's Veers. There's just something about it, like maybe the face is a little too long, where the actor's was a little bit more rounded in the cheeks. I don't know, there's just something about it that when I look at it, it's like, yeah, that looks good, that looks like him, but there's just something a little bit off. He comes with a removable helmet with goggles and his blaster pistol. And then the last one that's out for the vintage collection is, and this is the one that when I saw the close-up photos of it, I was like, how is this not a 6-inch scale figure? This looks so good. Poggle the Lesser. Now, I am not a huge fan of the Geonosians, but he looks so good. The sculpt, the paint apps, like, this is like a little 3.75 work of art right here. Plus, he has articulated wings. Like, they were showing how the wings can, basically, they just pivot. I don't think they rotate forward or backwards, but they do, like, swipe up and down, which I think is very cool. He comes with his cane as an accessory. That's really about it. But man, does he look good. Man, does the sculpt look good. Man, do the paint apps look good. All of these are $19.99. ETA is May of 2026. And everything we just talked about with the vintage collection, with the exception of the Obi-Wan 2-pack, is available now for pre-order. Links in the show notes below. The next one that they went to is the Retro Collection, and this is the one that got a little less love than everything else. There was really only one figure that they showed, and he's part of a 6-pack, I think, that they're building out. So the other ones that they said are part of this 6-pack are 2 other figures that they've shown already, which is, what was his name? Garridan, who was the spy in Mos Eisley's that sold out Han, Luke, and the rest. And then there is the CZ3 droid, which, funny story, years ago when I was running a Star Wars tabletop role-playing game, one of the players actually found CZ3 wandering around in Tatooine and sort of took him and used him as his own droid. And just because of the way he looked and the way he was walking, and like I sort of gave him a little bit of a neurotic personality, CZ3, they named him Seizure. So whenever I saw that they said, yeah, CZ3, I went, hey, Seizure, good to see you. But the new figure that they showed is R4N9, who was on the Tantive 4. And you actually see him being escorted away at the end of the attack on the Tantive 4. So, that's cool. What I do like about this one is, and if it's true that this is the first time they've done this, this is insane to me, that he comes with the 3rd leg. So you can tilt the droid back, plug the 3rd leg in, and have him on like that trike stance. And it just pops out, and it will fit into any other Retro Collection astromech, like other R2s or R4, and R5, the R5 as well, R5D4. That, how has it taken this long to do this? Now, I remember when I was a kid, I had an R2D2 from the Kenner line that I think came out with Return of the Jedi that had that 3rd leg, but it just sort of telescoped out. You couldn't pull it out and use it in other droids. It was anchored to that R2D2. And that frustrated me even more because before that, they came out with an R2D2 for Empire Strikes Back that had the telescopic, like the periscope that basically came up from the dome when he was underwater and making his way over to land. They couldn't put that on the R2 with the 3rd leg. They had the dome. They had everything there. That they could have put the telescopic, the periscope on R2 with the 3rd leg, and we could have had a perfect R2-D2. But no, they wouldn't do that. So back to R4, he is going to be part of that 6-pack that is coming out. Don't know when that 6-pack is happening, but now that fills out that 6-pack halfway. So you got Garridan, or is it Garridan? Yeah, that doesn't sound right. I think I wrote down the wrong name because I could never remember his name. But like Garridan, CZ3, and R4 are the first half of that 6-pack. So jumping out of Retro Collection, because that was the only thing they had for the Retro Collection, we get into the Black Series. And this is definitely the one that got the most love. But not being a collector of Black Series, I suspect that some collectors may be at the same time excited about the things that are being released, but also frustrated because there's a lot of 2-packs involved with Star Wars now. And I don't know how Star Wars is going, but over on the classified side of things, the 2-packs are actually starting to get too expensive. Like, it is way more expensive to get a 2-pack than it is to just buy 2 figures. I don't know if the Black Series is working the same way. Like, with classified, at least they're throwing in like a lot of kibble, like blast effects, explosions, accessories, things like that, almost using it as an excuse to give us 2 figures and like an accessory pack. But they are kind of getting out of hand with the price of their 2-packs. So the first thing we're going to take a look at, though, after saying that, is not a 2-pack, and that is the Season 1, Episode 1 Mandalorian. I really like this look of Mando. I never watched The Mandalorian. I don't have Disney Plus. But I was kind of disappointed when he got out of this and he went to his all shiny, brand new Beskar armor. Honestly, I kind of dig this look better. I felt this look had more personality. Like, I don't know. I just really liked this piecemeal look better. Now, this version of Mando, they said, is partially built off of the Book of Boba Fett Mando. The piecemeal armor. He has a cloth goods cape for the first time. He has a knife-wielding hand, because I guess with the first Mando that came out, with just having trigger hands, it was hard to get his dagger, his vibro blade, to stay in his grip. But now he has a hand specifically for holding the vibro blade, which I think is a nice touch. He also has roly-poly wrists, which they didn't go into great detail of what that is, but I'm guessing those are sort of like the Revoltech wrists that you can just have pivoting in any direction you want, which if that's the case, yes, Hasbro, it has taken you long enough. McFarlane has been using them. Why haven't you? Like, Hasbro figures with those roly-poly like Revoltech wrists, I think I feel like we've been waiting for that. Like, do that. Bring that out. Come on, Hasbro. You have the technology. You can do it. Mando here is going to be a Target exclusive. Spring of 2026. Probably going to be a Geek Out release. Now we get into the 2-packs. And this first 2-pack comes from the comic books. Haven't read any of the comics since, well, quite honestly, since Disney took over. But this looks really cool, that there is something for the Stormtroopers called Scar Squadron. And I love how, like, they're building up, like, factions within the Stormtroopers. And, like, they've been doing for years with the clones, which we'll be seeing in a moment. So I think the Scar Squadron thing, giving Stormtroopers a little bit more personality, I think that's really cool, because the first figure of this 2-pack is Cav, which the names mean nothing to me. But he looks like he might be a close quarters combatant because he has those 3 vibro daggers across the chest and 1 in his boot. And each one of those vibro daggers is losable. I mean, usable. That they can all pull out of their sheaths, and he can wield the vibro daggers individually. He comes with an EC-17 pistol that normally the biker scouts carry, and he has a robot arm. Very cool. I also like I don't know if all Scar Squadron, well, probably not, because the next one we have doesn't have it, but I don't know if like a lot of the Scar Squadron Stormtroopers have those markings on their armor, but I dig how Cav sort of like has battle damage done to his armor, and it's like he's wearing it as a badge of pride. The other figure that comes with him in this 2-pack is Misty the Sniper. Y'all know I love my snipers, and this one looks really cool. I really like the cloak, the hooded cloak that he comes with. I'm assuming in the comics that is something that like he can wrap around himself. Because in the images that we saw as part of the fan stream, it looks like it just hangs off his shoulders and has a hood that comes up. Sort of gives him, considering he's a sniper, sort of gives him like that ghillie suit feel. Also kind of has that Remember when Halo 5 was coming out and we thought it was going to be a completely different game, but there was that trailer where Master Chief was wearing the poncho with the hood, and when the big Guardian came up out of the sand and it had that shockwave and the hood blew back and you could see Chief in the Mjolnir armor underneath the cloak. It's kind of like something, another feel that this is giving me. I think this is a really cool look. So it comes with his cloth goods hooded cloth goods hooded cape. Comes with a sniper rifle, and he has a vibro dagger in his boot. This 2-pack is going to be a Hasbro Pulse and Shop Disney exclusive, available spring of 2026. Another 2-pack that we have, and this is the last thing we'll be taking a look at, is something from the Clone Wars, and it is Clone Wars Plo Koon, which I feel like this version of Plo, just because of how he was with the wolf pack in the cartoon, I feel like this version might be something that collectors, Black Series collectors, have been waiting for. This is an updated version of Plo. He has a much darker brown robes to make him stand out a little bit more and sort of match up with the coloring from the Clone Wars cartoon. He has his forearm armor with the Wolfpack style insignia on it. I think that looks very cool. But then the other figure of the 2-pack is Commander Wolf himself. Right here, this is built off of what they said is the newest Clone Trooper body from 23. He is in his Phase 2 armor. The cloth goods skirting looks really cool. It looks like Black Series is getting a lot of cloth goods recently. And he has a new face portrait and a newly sculpted fitted helmet. I really like how Hasbro is able to streamline the helmets to make the helmets removable with the existing head sculpts, rather than have a helmeted head that pops off and a non-helmeted head that pops off. That you can just put the helmeted head on, and then the helmets that they're making are so streamlined and fitted to the face sculpt underneath that they're not real big and bulky like when they first tried to start doing this. Now, don't get me wrong, you don't need to do this with every figure. Like every Viper and every Stormtrooper that comes out, just give them the helmeted head that pops on and off. But if you're going to have the option of a helmeted or non-helmeted head, I really like being able to pull the helmet off like this. This 2-pack is also going to be available spring of 2026. Will be a Hasbro Pulse and Shop Disney exclusive as well. Once again, keep your eyes out for these things coming in 2026. Once they are available, I'll let you know right here when it happens. So before I get started on editing and rendering this video and getting it uploaded for tomorrow morning, there's a lot of work I still got to do around here. Remember what I said at the beginning of the video? Whiteout conditions. I got to shovel a path from the front of the house up to the road so that when FedEx and UPS shows up and brings me the Christmas goodies, they have a clear path to get down to the house. But before I go, I want to draw attention to the hoodie I am wearing. If you can't read what it says, and I don't think you can on camera, it says Fairy Tale of New York. If you don't know what the Fairy Tale of New York is, not only is it not only a Christmas song, it is an emotional journey. By the Pogues, this Irish punk band. It is a fantastic tune. It's on Spotify if you want to check it out. I have been waiting years for a Fairy Tale of New York sweater. I found this one on Redbubble, saw it, was perfect, loved how it's in sort of like this snow globe of New York right here. Had to grab it. I'm just so happy to have, like, there's no reason I'm telling you this other than I am just so happy to finally have this. Also underneath, probably noticed that there's blue. I'm wearing my Super shirt underneath, the S logo. The Supergirl trailer was fantastic. If you didn't watch my reaction video to that yet, go ahead, check it out. I think it's gonna be really good. So yeah, really want that movie to do well. Really want, if Warner Brothers is going to get sold, really want it to go to Netflix and not Paramount. But in the meantime, check out the trailer reaction, check out Fairy Tale of New York. Happy holidays, everyone. It is my favorite time of the year. It is the best time of the year, and I thank you all for spending some of your time this Christmas season with me. If you'd like to grace me with a gift this year, please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. It's easy, it's free, and it's the best way to support the show and help fight through the YouTube algorithm. If you would care to help the show in other ways, check out my Ko-fi page, link in the show notes below, or become a YouTube channel member, button below. I invite you to come back every night through the month of December for our Advent calendar opening. It is one of my longest running traditions, and honestly, it is my first tradition here on the show. So until the next night, my friends, play well. Stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, Merry Christmas.